Have you ever felt like books are boring? Well, so did Penelope the pony, until one magical night everything changed. Join her at Willowbrook Ranch and discover how reading can take you anywhere, even to Marshmallow Islands and pirate adventures. At a peaceful place called Willowbrook Ranch lived a young pony named Penelope. She was light brown with a curious little nose and loved galloping through flower-filled fields, chasing butterflies and splashing in puddles. Books? Penelope didn't care much for those. One sunny afternoon, her mother trotted over with a warm smile. She gently laid a book at Penelope's hooves. "Why don't you read this, sweetheart?" she asked kindly. Penelope wrinkled her nose. "Books are boring. I'd rather run." Penelope stomped her hooves. "Books can't gallop. They don't jump or play. What's the point?" Her mother chuckled softly. "Books can take you on adventures even your hooves can't reach," she said. "They help you dream big and learn wonderful things." Penelope flicked her tail. "Maybe later." That night, the stars twinkled above Willowbrook Ranch. Penelope lay in her warm, quiet stable. She couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about what her mom had said. Slowly, curiously, she peeked at the book. The story was about a brave pony who sailed across the sea in a jelly bean boat, discovered a marshmallow island, and made friends with a singing dolphin. Penelope's eyes lit up. Her imagination took flight. Suddenly, she was dreaming of candy clouds and pony pirates. The next morning, Penelope raced to her mom. "Mom, I read it. The pony sailed a jelly bean boat and found a marshmallow island." She neighed excitedly. Her mother nuzzled her gently. "And how did it make you feel?" "Like I went on the adventure too." Penelope beamed. From that day on, Penelope made time to read. Every single day. She even made a cozy reading spot beneath the big willow tree. Soon, ducklings, lambs, and baby goats came to listen, as she read aloud with wide, joyful eyes. Penelope the pony had discovered something truly magical. Books weren't boring at all. They were full of wonder, friendship, and adventures waiting to begin. And every day at Willowbrook Ranch became a new story to read. If you enjoyed Penelope's story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more cozy adventures every night. And remember, every time you open a book, a new world is waiting for you. Good night, little dreamer.
Benny the Bear thinks books are boring and naps and pies are the best thing in the world. But what if one tiny mouse and one magical story could change his mind forever? Stick around, because by the end of this tale, you might just believe that books can be better than pies. Millie and the bear who didn't like books. It was a rainy day in the forest. Raindrops tapped gently on the round window of a cozy little treehouse tucked high in an old oak tree. Inside, Millie the mouse sat on a soft pillow, reading her favorite book out loud. Her tiny voice danced through the room like warm cocoa steam. Across from her, Benny the bear sat with his arms crossed and a grumpy frown on his face. "Books are boring," Benny huffed. "I'd rather nap or eat pie." Millie smiled sweetly. "Maybe you just haven't found the right book yet." Benny grumbled, but he didn't leave. So Millie reached for a new book with a shiny red cover. She opened it gently and began to read. Once upon a time, there was a brave bear who soared through the sky on honey-covered marshmallow clouds. Benny's ears perked up. "Wait," he said, leaning closer. "Did you say honey-covered marshmallows?" Millie nodded and kept reading, her voice full of excitement. Page by page, Benny inched closer. His eyes grew wider. His frown melted into a smile. Soon, He was lying on his belly with his chin in his paws, listening like the story was the most delicious pie he'd ever tasted. When Millie closed the book, Benny sat up. "That's it?" he asked. "Can we read another? Maybe one with cake this time?" Millie giggled. "I've got just a story." From that day on, every afternoon became story time in the treehouse. Benny still loved naps and snacks, but now he loved stories even more. And Millie? She was just happy to have someone to share them with. Under blankets, with cookies by their side, the two friends read together as sunlight poured through the window, and the forest quietly listened. Because sometimes it only takes the right book and the right friend to turn a napper into a reader. If you enjoyed Millie and Benny's story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more wonderful adventures. Books can help you dream big, spark your creativity, and grow your problem-solving skills. They can take you to magical worlds filled with imagination and teach you about real places and cultures all around the world. So, keep reading, keep dreaming, and we'll see you in the next story.
Once on a giggly day in a land full of cheer lived a girl named Alice with dreams far and near. She found a strange book that sparkled so bright, and whoosh! In a blink, she flew out of sight. She landed plop in a forest so wild, where mushrooms wore hats and flowers all smiled. The butterflies cheered, the daisies could talk, and an owl flew down from a tree with a squawk. "Who are you?" the owl gave a shout. "You've scared all the bugs and made the clouds pout." "I'm Alice," she said. "This place is so weird. The trees just burped and the chipmunks cheered." "Well, well," said the owl with a twinkle in his eye. "There's a magic crystal that lives in the sky, but it's hidden in riddles and guarded by jokes and a sleepy old goblin in a coat full of pokes." Alice stood tall and said with a grin, "I'm brave enough. I'm ready to begin, even if I must travel so far, riding the back of a banana car." "Then take this clue," said the owl with a flap. "It's wrapped in a rhyme and a peppermint wrap." She danced through forests of jelly and jam and waved to a moose named Sir Marmalade Sam. She skipped past bubbles and bounced over sticks and dodged jelly beans that popped like clicks. To find the crystal, be brave and don't rush. It's hiding inside a cave full of slush. But don't trust frogs with shiny glass eyes. They love to tell tales and very big lies. At last, she reached the slushy, dark cave, guarded by a fish who forgot how to shave. She tiptoed past him with a hiccupy cheer, and there was the crystal, so bright and so clear. "One wish you may make," the crystal did say, "but no flying ponies or bubbles today." Alice thought hard, then said with delight, "I wish for the magic to stay in me bright." The crystal went poof, and the air gave a zing. As sparkles and giggles did twirl and swing, she laughed as the book brought her back to her bed, with magic and dreams still dancing in her head. Thank you for joining Alice on her magical ride. Did you enjoy the poem? We hope you smiled wide. If you'd like to hear more fun stories each night, don't forget to like and subscribe, all right? Now close your eyes and drift into streams. We're wishing you sweet and magical dreams, just like Alice had, full of sparkle and cheer. Good night, little dreamers. We'll see you right here.
Flash is fast, Rocky is tough. They've never been friends until one epic race changes everything. Buckle up, it's Ferrari versus Jeep. In a bustling town where cars had personalities, two vehicles stood out. Flash, a sleek, speedy red Ferrari, and Rocky, a tough, rugged Jeep. Flash ruled the highways, zooming past with unmatched speed. while Rocky conquered the wild, unpaved trails, climbing hills and splashing through mud like a champion. They were total opposites, and they never got along. Every time they crossed paths, they argued about who was the better car. Flash: speed is everything. What's the point of being a car if you can't race like the wind? Rocky: speed is useless if you can't handle the rough roads. I can go places you'd never survive. Their rivalry became so legendary that the whole town talked about it. But no one could settle the debate until one day, an old wise tow truck named Gramps had an idea. Gramps rolled up to Flash and Rocky and said, "You two always bicker, but how about proving yourselves in a real challenge? A race, but not just any race. It'll test both of your skills. If either of you truly thinks you're the best, here's your chance to prove it." Flash and Rocky smirked. Flash: a race? Easy. I was born for this. Rocky: ha ha. I hope it's not just some straight road, or this won't be fun at all. Gramps: oh, trust me, boys. This isn't just about speed or strength. It's about endurance, skill, and most importantly, heart. The entire town gathered to hear the race details. The track wasn't a simple road. It was a mix of smooth highways, rocky hills, a rickety bridge, a deep puddle, and even a dark tunnel. It would push both cars to their limits. The rules: the first to cross the finish line wins. But if either car gets stuck or damaged, they must finish together or neither wins. Both cars laughed. Flash: I never get stuck. Rocky: and I never need help. Oh, how wrong they were. With a loud vroom, the race started. Flash zoomed ahead on the smooth highway, leaving Rocky in the dust. Flash: see you at the finish line, slowpoke. Rocky just smirked. As soon as they hit the rough terrain, he took a shortcut through the hills, bounding over rocks while Flash struggled. Rocky: oh no, Flash. Too scared to scratch your shiny paint? But the real trouble came when they reached the rickety old bridge. Flash reached it first and tried to speed across. But crack! The bridge wasn't built for such a light, fast car. His back wheels got stuck. Flash: Rocky? A little help? Rocky rolled up, chuckling. Rocky: oh, now you need me. But instead of leaving Flash behind, Rocky used his strong front bumper to nudge Flash forward, freeing him from the crack. Flash: I guess that was kinda cool. Rocky: you guess? Just don't get used to it. They both sped off, back to racing full speed. Next came the deep, sticky puddle of mud. Rocky stormed through with ease, splashing everywhere. But when Flash tried to go through, Flash: oh, wait, my tires are sinking. Help! Rocky groaned. Rocky: seriously again? But instead of laughing, he used his winch to pull Flash out of the mud. Flash looked at Rocky, realizing something. Maybe speed wasn't everything after all. Flash: you saved me again. Rocky: don't get all emotional. Keep up. This time, they started driving side by side instead of against each other. As they neared the tunnel, something unexpected happened. The lights inside flickered out. It was pitch dark. Flash, with his low headlights, could barely see. Flash: I can't see a thing. I can't drive like this. Rocky's headlights, however, were big and bright, perfect for the dark. Rocky: stay close to me. I'll light the way. For the first time, Flash followed instead of led. Together, they made it through, bursting out into the final stretch. The finish line was just ahead. Flash and Rocky looked at each other. They were both in the lead. The crowd cheered. Flash: you know, this race wouldn't have been fun without you. Rocky: Yeah, and you're not completely useless, I guess. They sped toward the finish line, together. Just before crossing, they both slammed on the brakes at the same time. Instead of one car winning, they crossed the line together. The crowd went wild. Gramps, looks like we have a tie. But more importantly, I think we have two new friends. Flash and Rocky smirked at each other. Flash, rematch next week? Rocky, only if we make it even tougher. They revved their engines together, knowing that this wasn't the end of their rivalry, but the beginning of an epic friendship. Moral of the story, true strength isn't just about speed or toughness. It's about knowing when to ask for help and when to work together. And so Flash and Rocky discovered that teamwork makes the race even more fun. But the real winners? All the awesome kids out there who love speed, adventure, and racing just like they do. If you enjoyed this race, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and hit subscribe if you want to see more epic stories just like this one. See you at the next starting line.
What happens when a fairy gets stuck in a spider web? Will someone find her in time? Stay until the end to see how her story unfolds. The Fairy and the Forgotten Wish. Once upon a time, in a quiet place called Starfall Field, wildflowers sparkled like stars and the wind sang lullabies through the tall grass. It was a peaceful land where dreams tiptoed in the moonlight, and in the heart of that field lived a gentle unicorn named Willow. Willow had a soft lavender coat, a shimmering golden horn, and a flowing mane that glowed with soft pastel colours, lavender, sky blue, and pale pink. Every night she trotted gracefully through Starfall Field, listening closely to the secrets the stars whispered to the earth. But one night, Willow heard something she had never heard before. "Help! Please help!" came a tiny, trembling voice carried by the breeze. Willow stopped in her tracks. She tilted her head and followed the sound until she spotted something glimmering between two tall reeds. It was a tiny fairy tangled in a spider's web. Her wings shimmered like dew, but she looked scared and stuck. "Oh dear," said Willow softly, "let me help you." With the tip of her golden horn glowing bright, Willow gently snipped the sticky strands of the web. The fairy fluttered her wings and slowly lifted into the air, her eyes wide with relief. "Thank you," she said, brushing off the web. "I'm Serena, the smallest fairy in the fairy glen. I was chasing a falling star, but I got caught." Willow gave her a warm smile. "You're safe now." Serena flew close and whispered, "There's something else. A long time ago, someone made a wish, a very special wish. I was meant to deliver it, but I dropped it somewhere near this field. I've looked everywhere, but I still can't find it." Willow's violet eyes widened. What was the wish? Serena shook her head sadly. "I don't know. I only know it's still out there, waiting to be found." Willow lowered her head, her golden horn glowing brighter. "Then let's find it together." And so, Willow and Serena began their magical journey across the land. They crossed silver rivers that shimmered like mirrors, tiptoed through glowing mushroom paths, and rode a giant leaf like a boat across the breeze. They laughed and shared stories along the way, and Serena even showed Willow how to hear the tiniest sounds in the wind. Finally, deep in the enchanted forest, they reached the glimmering tree, a towering tree with bark that shimmered in blue and gold. Serena gasped. "There it is!" she cried. Floating beneath the tree's lowest branches was a tiny glowing orb shaped like a star. It sparkled gently, as if it had been waiting just for them. As Willow stepped closer, the little wish shimmered, and spoke in a whispery voice. I was made by a lonely child who wished for a true friend. Serena looked at Willow with tears in her eyes. Willow, what if you are that friend? Willow smiled and nodded. Then we must bring the wish to that child. Together, the unicorn and the fairy soared into the sky, Willow galloping across the clouds and Serena flying beside her, the glowing wish trailing between them like a shooting star. Below them, nestled in a quiet village, was a little cottage with a light still glowing in the window. Inside, a child slept peacefully, cuddling a unicorn plushie in their arms. Willow landed softly on the clouds above the house, and Serena let the wish float down like a feather on the breeze. It slipped through the open window and settled gently over the child's heart. And from that night on, the wish was no longer forgotten, because that lonely child had found a true friend. And Willow and Serena, they were never apart again, for they had discovered the most magical gift of all, friendship. Thank you so much for joining Willow and Serena on their magical journey tonight. If you enjoyed their story and want to hear more adventures just like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, sweet dreams and good night.
Have you ever wondered what your crayons do when you're sleeping? Well, one night Emily forgot to put her crayons away, and something magical happened. Emily had a big imagination and loved to draw. Her room was filled with sketches, scribbles, and stacks of paper covered in rainbows, rockets, and unicorns. One evening, after a long day of coloring, Emily fell asleep without cleaning up. Her crayon box lay wide open on the floor. Suddenly, Red Crayon blinked. "Is it safe?" he whispered, looking around. Blue, yellow, and green started to stir. One by one, the crayons came to life. "Tonight's the night," said Yellow. They raced across Emily's room, drawing on the windows, doodling on socks, even sliding down bookshelves like a crayon roller coaster. As they drew, something even crazier happened. Emily's drawings began to glow and then move. A unicorn blinked. A rocket blasted off the page. A pancake with legs started dancing. But soon, the crayons got a little carried away. The room looked like a rainbow exploded. There were doodles everywhere. "Oh no," said Blue. "We're going to be in so much trouble." The crayons huddled together. "We have to fix this," said Green. So they tiptoed around, scrubbing drawings with the magic erasers from Emily's backpack, trying to put everything back before sunrise. As the first rays of morning sun peeked in, the crayons leapt back into their box. Just in time, Emily stretched, yawned, and sat up. "What a funny dream," she giggled, looking at her crayon drawing of a flying pancake. From that day on, Emily always remembered to put her crayons away, just in case they wanted to go on another adventure. So, if your crayons ever go missing, maybe they're off drawing something magical. And that, little dreamers, was the day the crayons came to life. Thank you so much for listening to tonight's colorful adventure. If you love the story and want to hear even more magical tales, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. You can create your very own masterpieces too. Just grab some crayons, use paper, and let your imagination run wild. But when you're all done, be sure to clean up your crayons, just in case they want to go on a little adventure of their own. Sleep tight, sweet artist. Until next time, good night.
What if the fastest bunny in the garden lost the most important treat of the year. Join Kiara, the super-fast bunny, on a wild race to solve the mystery of the missing rainbow carrots before the picnic is ruined. In a bright and blooming garden, where butterflies danced and birds sang sweet songs, lived a little bunny named Kiara. But Kiara wasn't just any bunny. She was the super-fast bunny. With her fluffy white fur, bright blue eyes, and lightning-fast legs, she could zip across the garden faster than a dandelion puff in the wind. Today was a very special day. It was the day of the annual Rainbow Carrot Picnic, the biggest, tastiest celebration in the whole garden. Kiara hopped in excitement. "I can't wait to crunch into a rainbow carrot cupcake." The animals were busy preparing for the feast. "Plates, check. Blankets, check," said Harriet the hedgehog. But then she gasped. "Oh no, the rainbow carrots are gone." All the animals gasped. The picnic couldn't happen without rainbow carrots. Kiara stood tall and brave. "Don't worry, everyone," she said. "I'll find those carrots. No mystery is too fast for me." First stop, Chip and Chuck's tree. The chipmunks looked nervous. "We may have taken a few." "For smoothies," Chip squeaked. "But they were just regular carrots," Chuck added, spitting one out. "Too crunchy." "No rainbow carrots here." Kiara zipped off again. Next stop, Milo the mole's tunnels. "Milo," Kiara called. "Have you seen any rainbow carrots underground?" The sleepy mole rubbed his eyes. "I've been napping since Tuesday," he yawned. But just then, Kiara spotted something shiny buried in the dirt. It was a sparkling Easter egg. Inside was a tiny note that read, "To the fastest bunny, find me where the colors dance." Kiara's eyes lit up. "The rainbow waterfall," she exclaimed. She zoomed faster than ever before. At the waterfall, sunlight sparkled through the mist, making a glowing rainbow. Behind the curtain of water, tucked in a nook, was the basket of rainbow carrots. "Bree, the butterfly," Kiara laughed. "You moved the carrots." "I thought they'd stay fresh behind the cool waterfall," Bree said shyly. "I didn't know there was a picnic." With a happy grin, Kiara thanked Bree and raced back to the garden. Her paws were muddy, her ears were damp, but her heart was full. "I found them," she cheered, holding the basket high. The animals clapped and cheered. They munched on rainbow carrot cupcakes, sipped fizzy flower juice, and laughed until their bellies were full. In the center of the picnic blanket, they placed the shiny Easter egg Kiara had found, now decorated with flowers and sparkles. As the sun began to set and fireflies twinkled like stars, Kiara curled up on her blanket. Benny the bear was already snoring, and Farmer Ted leaned against a tree with his hat over his face. Kiara yawned and smiled. What a day. She may have started the day chasing a mystery, but she ended it with full bellies, happy friends, and a heart bursting with joy. And as the stars sparkled above her, Kiara whispered, "I wonder what adventure I'll hop into next." Thanks for joining Kiara's quest. Where rainbow carrots were put to the test, through tunnels deep and waterfalls wide, you came along for the bouncy ride. Did you giggle, smile, or shout with glee? Then like and subscribe. It's just meant to be. For more adventures, fun, and cheer, we'll share more stories all through the year. Now close your eyes, the stars shine bright. Sleep tight, sweet friend. Good night, good night.
When a friend is in trouble, even the smallest heroes can shine. Will the two friends be able to save a baby bird? Max and Tilly's Midnight Rescue. It was a peaceful night in the countryside. Max the mouse was curled up in his cosy burrow beneath the roots of an old tree. The soft glow of a lantern lit the pages of his book as he read quietly, wrapped in a blanket of calm. Suddenly, there was a knock at his door. It was Tilly the turtle, her shell dusted with forest leaves and her eyes wide with worry. She panted, "A baby bird has fallen from its nest in the forest. It's safe for now, but all alone, and the night is getting colder." Max set down his book and jumped to his feet. "We have to help. Grab the flashlight and some thread. We're going on a rescue mission." With a tiny flashlight, a spool of thread, and Tilly's trusty little wagon filled with supplies, the two friends headed into the moonlit forest. The night air was cool and quiet. Owls hooted softly above as they followed the path through the trees. Soon they reached a bubbling stream. "We'll have to cross it," Max said, pointing to a narrow log stretching across the water. He carefully balanced along the log, and Tilly followed slowly behind. "You're doing great, Tilly," Max called gently, "just a little more." Not far beyond the stream, they came upon a large sleeping badger. He was curled up in a bed of leaves, snoring deeply. "Shh," whispered Max, holding a paw to his mouth. Tilly nodded and tiptoed silently beside him, holding her breath until they were safely past. At last they reached the base of a tall oak tree. There, in Tilly's wagon, sat a fluffy baby bird with wide eyes and soft feathers. It chirped softly and snuggled in the blankets Tilly had brought. "We'll get you home," Max whispered. Using the spool of thread, Max made a gentle sling. Together, he and Tilly carefully lifted the baby bird up into its nest, high in the branches. Just as they finished, the baby's mother swooped down and landed beside the nest. She chirped gratefully and tucked her little one beneath her wing. Tilly smiled. "We did it, Max." As the sun began to rise, the forest glowed in soft pink and gold. Max and Tilly walked home side by side, tired but proud. "Even the smallest friends," Max said with a smile, "can make a big difference." And with that, the forest grew quiet again as Max and Tilly returned to their cozy homes, two tiny heroes beneath the morning sky. The end. Now close your eyes, the stars are bright, and Max is home, asleep tonight. But if you loved this little quest, there's more to come, so get some rest. For stories sweet and dreams so wide, be sure to like and then subscribe. Max the Mouse will soon return with more adventures, laughs and turns. Thank you, friends, for listening through. We made this tale just for you.
Have you ever wished for something someone else had? Maybe a shiny bike, a zooming motorbike, or even a helicopter high in the sky? Well, this is the story of one simple walk that turned into a trail of wishes, where everyone wanted what the next person had, until one surprising moment changed everything. Tim's Wishy-Wishy Walk. One sunny morning, a man named Tim was walking down the road with a smile on his face. He didn't have a bike or a car, just his comfy shoes and a happy heart. As he walked, a boy rode past on a shiny blue bicycle. Tim stopped and said, "I wish I had a bicycle like that." The boy on the bicycle kept pedaling happily until a motorbike zoomed by with a vroom vroom. The boy looked at it wide-eyed and said, "I wish I had a motorbike like that." The motorbike rider sped along with the wind in his hair until a red sports car zipped past, sparkling in the sunlight. The motorbike rider gasped and said, "I wish I had a car like that." Inside the red sports car, the driver grinned as the engine purred. But then he looked up and saw a helicopter flying high above the road. The car driver pointed to the sky and said, I wish I had a helicopter like that. Inside the helicopter, a very rich man sat in the back, just working on his laptop, answering phone calls, and looking very tired. He glanced out the window and saw Tim, the man who was walking, smiling and waving at a butterfly. The rich man sighed and whispered, "I wish I had time to walk like that." And so, each person wished for someone else's ride. But in the end, the richest man of all just wanted time for a simple walk in the sunshine. Sometimes, the best things in life don't have wheels. They just need time. As the sun set over the quiet road, the man kept walking with a smile, grateful for the little things that made his day special. Thank you, dear friends, for joining us on this thoughtful journey. We hope you enjoyed today's story, and if you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe, so you never miss another magical bedtime adventure. Sleep tight, and we'll see you again soon on Simply Sleep. Good night.
Have you ever heard a snore so loud it shook the castle walls? Well, meet Sir Snore-A-Lot, the only knight in the kingdom who could defeat a dragon without even waking up. Stick around to find out how one sleepy night turned his biggest problem into his greatest power. Sir Snore-A-Lot and the Sleepy Quest. In the kingdom of Nod on the Nose, everyone slept peacefully. Well, almost everyone. Every night the castle walls shook, paintings tilted, mice wore earmuffs. And the reason? Sir Snore-A-Lot. He was a kind and brave knight, but when he slept, he snored like a dragon sneezing in a trumpet. One night, the king stormed into the room in his royal pajamas. "Sir Snore-A-Lot," he bellowed, "you've woken the chickens, the cows, and my crown fell off." Sir Snore-A-Lot sat up, yawning. "So sorry, your majesty. My nose has a mind of its own." So the king gave him a quest. Find the silent stone. It's said to cure the loudest snorers in the land. And so, with a yawn and a sleepy wave, Sir Snore-A-Lot rode off on his horse, Pillow Pants, the sleepiest steed you've ever seen. He waved goodbye to the villagers and set out at dawn, his armor clinking with each sleepy sway. First, he reached the forest of 40 Winks, where hammocks swung between trees and gnomes snoozed with squirrels. So Snore-A-Lot tiptoed carefully, until Zah! He let out a snore that echoed through the forest. Gnomes shot up like toast from a toaster. Squirrels fell out of trees. "Who woke the whole forest?" shouted a grumpy chipmunk. Sir Snore-A-Lot gulped. "Sorry." Next came the cave of echoes, glowing with crystals and mystery. Sir Snore-A-Lot took one step inside and sneezed. Snnorika-boom! The sound bounced off the cave walls. Rocks trembled, pebbles danced. "Oops," he muttered. At the heart of the cave, he found the silent stone. But just as he reached for it, Raw! A huge green dragon appeared, guarding its treasure. Sir Snore-A-Lot gasped, and in pure terror, let out the loudest snore of all. The cave trembled. A giant stone loosened from the ceiling. The rock landed right on the dragon's head. The dragon blinked, wobbled, and fell down cold, fast asleep. Sir Snore-A-Lot blinked. Did I just defeat a dragon with my nose? When he returned to the kingdom, the villagers cheered. "You saved us!" they cried. Even the king smiled. "Your snore may be loud, but it's legendary." Colorful banners flew. Confetti rained. Sir Snore-A-Lot blushed, then yawned. That night, back in his warm bed, Sir Snore-A-Lot snuggled under his red blanket. He let out a gentle, heroic snore. Outside his window, the moon smiled. The stars twinkled. And in the distance, the kingdom of Nod on the Nose slept soundly, knowing their night was home. Thank you for joining us on Sir Snore-A-Lot's sleepy quest. Remember, even the things that make you different might just be what makes you great. If you love this bedtime adventure, tap that like button, hit subscribe, and snore along with us next time on Simply Sleep. Good night, brave dreamers.
In a quiet little town, where the stars twinkled like tiny storytellers in the sky, there was a special kind of magic. It wasn't hidden inside a book or tucked away in a library with towering shelves. No, this magic was different. It was called Simply Sleep. Simply Sleep was a magical library without walls, without books. It didn't have a face or hands to hold a book. Instead, it whispered stories through glowing screens, through the wind, and into the hearts of those who needed a tale before bedtime. Whenever someone asked, "Can you tell me a story?" Simply Sleep's words would come to life like soft, floating lanterns, lighting up imaginations everywhere.